one that I could just have all my games on it and then just call it a day. And then that's exactly what I did. I got the 1 terabyte one. I think it was like $200 or something. It was like $180 or something like that. And I was like, you know what? That's a deal, especially since like what I paid for. And then like if I would have waited, I think like a year later, I could have gotten a 1.5 terabyte for around the same price. And that has higher speeds. And I'm just like, what the heck? So I just said, yeah, I'm not even gonna go for that. But I do gotta say though, if I were... But I gotta say that, like, if I really wanted to, I would definitely grab this and put it on my Switch. I'm kind of curious though, is there a 2 terabyte micro SD card that is from a reputable... From the reputable thing? Apparently SanDisk has one. When was this released? Because I find that hard to believe. Team Group has one. Oh, they have a Pro one. $400 for that? Is that a 1 terabyte? Yeah, I searched for 2 terabytes and I got 1 terabyte. Oh, I'm guessing that one's a no-name brand. Silicon Power 1 terabyte. It might not be. I like how it has to say it's compatible with the Nintendo Switch. It's like technically any micro SD card is compatible with Nintendo Switch. It just depends on how well it works. Yeah, it just looks like... When was this one released then? This one seems too good to be true. That's all it is. It looks like... Because it's like double the price. Double the price for double the capacity of a 1 terabyte one that's also in the Extreme. Okay, now I know why it costs so much. It's got decent speeds. Hold up. Up to 240 megabyte read speeds. And what's the write speeds at? It does not say read. Oh. Or write speed, sorry. 140 megabyte write. Ooh. That's pretty cool. So for $300, you can get this too. When was this released? Released. Date first available, 2024. I like how they always come out with a new one in September. That's what happened with the 1.5 terabyte one. It was released in September. It was September, I think, 2022, I think, or 2023, one of the two. 2023, September 22nd is the same day. Oh, they waited about a week before they're like, you know what, let's release the 2 terabyte one. We'll wait a year and about 6 days, and then we'll release. And we'll release the 2 terabyte version. And that's exactly what happened. They waited for 2 weeks or a week after, and then they gave it out. Or not gave it out, but they sold it. But it's got decent speeds. So 140 write, 240 read. That's not too bad. The Nintendo Switch is like about 100 each way. And this is not just saying like, oh, it's only for Nintendo Switch, right? It's good for all devices. Dude, I would probably throw this in my phone if I could. Like as a micro SD card, yeah, I would throw this in my phone. Because that would be awesome. Because then my phone would be my drive. I'm joking. I don't think I would actually end up doing it. But definitely not for $400 or just getting a 2 terabyte one. If I'm gonna throw about, well, it's $266, so about $300. If I was gonna throw that, How much was that hard drive I was looking at? It was like an 8 terabyte hard drive I was looking at. Oh, it's about the same price. So instead of $266, $22 added to that. That's how much it is. But is it okay? This is from them though. That's not like from the place I was looking at. There was one that I was like, it was cheaper prices than what they were actually selling it for, and I'm like, what? I could also just go for a different one that has cache. What about this one? Does it have cache? Oh, it also has cache. Oh, but this one has a low RPM. That's why. A low RPM. And the one that I'm looking for, or the one I'm looking at, is all about gaming, because that's what it says. It's a gaming internal hard drive. I mentioned this in, I think it was like gold or silver, but I was in a whole fix of getting a NAS, and I still am. I'm still looking into it. I'm looking into it for personal reasons as well as for videos as well. The reason why I'm looking into it instead of like just throw all my money at it is because I'm trying to wonder if I should just get a DIY case of it, so I build my own, or get one that has already been built. You just need to slide in your hard drives in there and just call it a day. Because those ones, apart from the first one I found that I liked, which was like $130, I think, or something like that, which is a good deal, by the way. There's other ones that are made with more reputable companies, I would say. I don't know if you want to call them reputable, but like I feel like they are more commonplace, sort of like how Western Digital is like a hard drives company kind of thing, like, and SanDisk is a micro SD card company, like that kind of thing. And Samsung's sort of all over the place, but you know what I mean? Like those, I feel like, are reputable companies where somebody can actually. So if you go, I have a Samsung like like an SSD, like I have a Samsung SSD, and you go, oh yeah, I heard those were really good, right? Then if you say, oh, I got a Silicon Valley SSD card, people go, what? Like, I've never heard of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of like how I feel like this one is. Like it's like sort of those like weird one-off Amazon type of like things. Whereas the other one that I was looking at, which I think could actually be what I was actually curious of, was an ASUS store, which I thought was was sort of like, it's like a side to ASUS, but no, it's actually different. And they have a cool NAS that is kind of what I'm looking for, because not only does it store hard drives, but it also has an M.2 SSD, sort of used as like the boot drive for it, as well as using it as cache data. So how the cache actually does work though is like, if you load up a file, it'll actually save it to the cache. So if you need to use that file again, you'll be able to get to that file faster than you were before. And that's how the cache, from my basic understanding, works. Right? So I thought that would be perfect, especially for video editing, or at least for video cataloging, or something like that. Not that I actually use videos, but same idea, right? Same premise. But the price for the devices themselves, like even if I were to get the one that's like just as good as the $130 one that I found, it's still an arm and a leg. So either I pay for, or either I spend $130 on the one that I was looking at, or I spent $700 on the machine itself. And that doesn't come with drives. That's just the case itself, with all the internal hardware enough to run it. And I'm just like, oh my god. And then there was like another one that I was looking at that is a build your own, where for $300, I think, you can get the case that's designed to be a NAS. And all you got to do is you can just implant your old computer and use that as your NAS. And I thought that one looks like a really good idea. That looks like a really good investment. But in order for me to take full advantage of that, I would have to figure out what my current PC is now. So would this one right here be perfect for that? Or would something else be perfect? And that's where I don't know. So I might go to a forum and I might see like what is the different cases, right? Because that's how I feel, right? I do feel like the NAS would be ideal for me because the drive itself doesn't need to be connected to my computer. I want one that is always at home, that I can access at any point, as long as I'm at home, obviously. And then I have another version that is portable, which I will put it in an SSD as soon as I get a chance to get the SSD. Then that one will be the more portable-ish option, which I find would be the best case scenario in my opinion. So that way though, I can use the SSD for any purpose that I need outside of home. And then when I get home, just sync them up. And that's another thing that I'm trying to do as well, is like, can I have it so that way though, like, I can sync them? Because it would be kind of weird if you can't sync them, right? So like if I change, let's say, a file name or something else, right? Or let's say I change some data inside a text document, something like that. Can I tell the software, hey, sync them both, right? Either that or I just go in and do whatever. Although the other thing I was thinking of doing was having sort of a permissions-based thing, or having a user sort of like name thing. So each hard drive, let's say, has a username tied to it. So each drive has like a username attached to it. So let's say the first one will be mine, the second one, like for my personal stuff or whatever. The second one can be for my video stuff, and then the third one can be like for my parents or something like that, or something like that, right? And then have the extra one be the backup, so it's in a RAID system, right? So that if one craps out kind of thing, you can have the other one take over from that. But like have it as a user thing. So like if you want to access your data, it asks for your username and password. And so when you try to access the drive, it'll tell you, hey, what's the username and password? So if you go, oh, my username is this and my password is this, then you access your drive, right? So you'll only see, let's say, 8 terabytes of data. So you're not going to see the whole collective. You're only going to see the 8 terabytes. That would be a really cool system, and that would be something that I am looking for, because that kind of system would be very fortunate for me, because I actually get to do a lot of crazy stuff with that. And then the other thing I was looking at, which I find is just going to bankrupt me, is looking for one that is just all M.2 SSD. I was looking into that and I was like, that's going to bankrupt me, because M.2 SSDs are very expensive. And even if you go for any of the 4 terabyte ones that I think are out, yeah, I think there's like 4 terabyte ones that are out. They're about $400, okay. So the one that I'm looking at right now that actually has the 12 M.2 SSD array, it has 12 slots for them, okay? So let's say we get 4 of the one that I was looking to get for the, that I was going to get for my portable usage kind of thing. So let's go see if I can find that one real quick, so I can get the accurate price of right now. So I can get the accurate price of it right now. I think it was this one, right? Was it that one? Okay, we'll say it's this one. Go with the... Can I look at the last price it had? Can I look at the last price it had? No, I can't look at the last price it had. That's so sad. Why can't I look at the last price it had? Ew, that's an ugly looking Naz. Hold on, where is the... Didn't it say I can look at prices? Where is the prices? I'm confused. It said like I could look at prices. It said like there was different options. What? It said there was like 30 offers or whatever. Okay, I'll just take the one that it says. Okay, so $400. Okay, so $395. We'll just round it up to 400 because we gotta pay for tax over here. So if I take the calculator, because I'm not doing this calculation, I am sweating. It's hot in here. So 400 times 12, right? Yeah, 400 times 12, and then plus whatever it takes